Hello, Realm Runners. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing? My name is Charles Barton, otherwise known as Viridian. I'm the Achroma Community Coordinator here at Realm Runner Studios, and you are currently watching the Achroma weekly live stream for Sunday, the 24th of September. Didn't have to look at the date just there. Welcome in, everybody. Great to have you here. Welcome to everyone in the chat so far. Good to see you all. As always, we like to start by having we have a question normally, which is there on the screen, and we like to discuss it. So the question I pose to you this stream is, which playmat design do you think looks the best? Because yes, we'll discuss it more obviously in a few moments, but the big news, the news this week is that the playmats are in, so we'll discuss that more in a moment. But I wanted to know which design you guys like the most, which really is asking which poster design you like the most, because it is the posters for each of the chapters. So welcome in Statistic, welcome in Shaz, welcome in Fairy, good to see you all. So welcome in Ricky. Let's go from the top and see what people said. So welcome in Lord, welcome in Sarah. So Sarah started off by saying, I purchased the Cove one, that's my new favorite. Yeah, Cove. I'll start by agreeing, Cove is also my current favorite. For those that haven't seen the designs for the playmats, the link is down below if you want to have a quick look now and come back. But yeah, Cove is my favorite. Lewis says Realm Runners, it has to be the best because it has the best Sparta characters on it. Yeah, it has what, Serrano and Spiral, I believe. Welcome in Heron. So Heron also agrees Cove, but potentially also Wishwell. Yeah, the Wishwell one is really cool. Welcome in Jonky, welcome in Dickon. Dickon says Conduit Curdle Cove. Again, Cove seems to be winning so far. Welcome in Auntie. Again, yeah, congratulations on Saturday. We'll talk about the Grand Tournament shortly. But you said either Curdle Hill or Wishwell. I love the character in the big scene image, although they're all stunning in their own ways. Yeah, Curdle Hill is stunning. Yeah, welcome in Ricky. I've ordered the chapter 1 with different characters. The Realm Runner one. The Realm Runner, yeah, very, very nice. It's kind of like the nice all-rounder with everything on there. Auntie says, I know, right? Watching Raiders turn grindy was incredible. Yeah. But yeah, welcome in Shaz, welcome in Ferry, welcome in Sadistic. Good to see you all. I was also two drain of Achroma killing you at one point, Lewis. Oh, very nice. Shaz says Dragons and Realm Runners are going to purchase the Cove. Very nice indeed. Welcome in Kaz. Good to see you. Welcome in Shah. Good to see you. Lovely. Loads of people here to begin this stream. So welcome in one and all. I hope you're all having a fantastic evening. So for those that are new to the stream, maybe watching in the background. So the way this is going to work is we'll start by talking through the Achroma news, events, and previews. So that is any Achroma news that has happened throughout the last 7 days, any events that have happened, or any events that are happening in the next few weeks. And we normally have some previews for you for upcoming products, of which today is definitely a good day to be here, because we are going to be showing you some actual now completed Draco Chapter 2 cards, including the keywords and exactly how they work. So exciting times. We then go into what we call the Realm Table segment, which is a bit of a community discussion. Sometimes I have guests on. This week I don't have a guest on. Instead, it will just be me talking with you guys in the chat. We're actually then going to be discussing the Chapter 2 keywords, and we're going to have a bit of a discussion about what do we think of these keywords? How do we think they're going to work with other chapters? Any synergies we can think of. Basically, to have a bit of a deep dive into how we think they're going to kind of settle into the rest of the meta. And then we finish the stream off with the community showcase, where we like to show off all of the amazing artwork and palette builds and just general creativity that people have made for Achroma this week, of which we are currently running a weekly palette building challenge. This week we're going to be looking at the results of the first one and be setting a new challenge, which will be fun as well. So that is the plan. It'll be about an hour to 90 minutes. So welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, Chaos. Great to see you. But yeah, so I'm Charles Barton. This is the Achroma Weekly Live Stream. Let's get started with the Achroma news. So, starting with Kickstarter updates. So, the big news is obviously that, yes, the playmats have arrived. You guys have been very patiently waiting, but they have now arrived. So, these are our upgraded playmats for the, a lot of people already have previous playmats from when we released them before, but these ones have been upgraded. They've got the new stitched edging. They should last much longer. Beautiful, vibrant. And as you can see in the image there, we've got a total of 7, I believe we've got them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in total, because there is one for each of the current chapters released, including Cove, and then we have one which is all of the Realm Runners, and then we have one which is just white and one which is just black. But I say just white, it has kind of like the splat patterns on it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so they have arrived. So the main news to mention is that if you backed us in the Kickstarter, specifically for a playmat, then your playmat is already been sent off in the post and should be with you any day now. If you pre-ordered one of the playmats, because we have had the pre-orders live for the last sort of month or so, so if you pre-ordered one of them, again, they are also in the post. They should be with you in the next few days, give or take. If you have not pre-ordered one and not got one of the Kickstarter, then it is not too late to get your hands on one. They are limited stock. Obviously, you know, they're not going to be, we will eventually get more of them in stock again. But in the past, our playmats have sold out very, very quickly, and we wouldn't be surprised if they sell out very quickly again. We will obviously place more orders to get more in, and they shouldn't take us long because we've now got the designs. But what I'm trying to say is they are limited stock. So if you want one, definitely don't sleep on it. Pick one up ASAP. The last thing you want to do is for them to sell out and then have to wait a few more months to get another order in. So they are limited. The link is down below if you want to check them out. And yeah, they are awesome. I'm excited because I'm waiting for my order. My order's in the post as well. Welcome in, Rich. Good to see you. Welcome in, buddy. What was supposed to be coming with the playmats was the binders. So they have been delayed slightly. They're now expected in late September, early October, which is really where we are now. So, you know, you're not going to be waiting, you know, months for the binders. They're, you know, a little bit behind the playmats, but they should be ASAP. No news on the deck boxes. And so in terms of Kickstarter news, that's all I have. It is the fact the playmats have arrived and the binders are just a week or so behind, but shouldn't be much longer for them. In terms of other Kickstarter products, all of them are still, you know, in the process, but I don't have any updates apart from things I've said in previous weeks. Is the binder only coming in white? That is a good question. I believe it's white and black, but please do not quote me on that, as I'm not certain. But I'm pretty certain I've seen a mock-up that was in black. So I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain it's white and black. Hoping today we might hear about the Sparta event, as that starts next week. I will be talking all about a few things coming up soon. So yeah, I'll let you know if I find out to be certain about the binder, but yeah, I can't confirm or deny purely because I don't know is the correct answer. So that is the Kickstarter news for today. The next update is about the Last Dragons of Altari. So this is the Draco the Draco Playmats Chapter 2 release. So this is the poster that got sneak peeked in the Discord earlier this week. So if you haven't seen this already, you may not be in our Discord. Make sure to join the Discord down below because we sometimes put sneak peeks in there first. So this dropped earlier in the week. This is the poster for the Chapter 2 Draco release. So a little bit of news about the Chapter 2. So the news this week, not only is the poster dropped, but I can confirm that all of the cards have now gone to the printer earlier this week. So things are now locked in. It's with the printer. So we are obviously just going to wait for the cards to come back to us, and then we can pack them and get them sent out to you. Now, with that, I've got a comment here that unfortunately we did face some challenges along creating this chronicle that I won't dive into in the stream today. As a result, obviously, you know, it's not lost on us that the season technically ends in, you know, 6 days is when technically the Draco season ends. The launch is going to be delayed by about 10 to 14 days. So I don't have a proper date to give you now. It's all come to, as soon as we have more information from our suppliers of getting the cards back, we'll obviously be able to then give you a date. But essentially, whilst the cards are with the printers, it's one of those things that we can't now commit to a date because, you know, when the cards come back from the printers, we have to then quality check them. You know, it might be that cards have been printed wrong, so then we have to ask them to be printed again. So as soon as we get a confirmed date back from the printers and actually be able to check them, we can then give you guys a final, okay, this is the date we're going to send them out. I know we originally said this Friday. It could, for example, still be this Friday. But it's likely it's going to be delayed by about 10 to 14 days. So I appreciate that's not ideal because it means that cards are going to be shipped when this season ends, but we appreciate everybody's patience, and we know that you guys understand that the reason for this is to make sure you guys have the best possible product when it reaches your hands. But thank you for the patience. And in the meantime, now that it has gone to the printer, we can start sharing it with you loads and loads of sneak peeks. So over the next few streams, you're going to be seeing many, many more physical cards being sneak peek to you. And if you're a content creator, if you haven't already been contacted, you will be contacted in the near future to give you some unique cards to sneak peek as well. Lewis says, the pre-orders are still secured. Yes, absolutely. For those that have already pre-ordered Draco Chapter 2, your pre-orders are still secured. You are still going to be getting your pre-order. And the Draco promo cards are still, they've been put aside. So if you've already pre-ordered Draco, even though the Draco season is about to end, and that's when the Draco summer promo cards will stop being given out, if you've pre-ordered, yes, you will still get your promo card. So definitely, if you haven't already, definitely go and pre-order the last Snow Dragons of Altari, because by doing so, not only if you do it before the 30th of September, you will get a Draco summer promo card, but you'll also secure a last Snow Dragons of Altari promo card as well, which we are going to be seeing on today's stream. Dickon says, I wonder if Sparata will either be extended by a month, having December off, or delay it by a month. So I'm going to be completely honest with you, Dickon. I don't know is the answer. We'll talk more about the Sparata season a little bit later in this stream, but the answer is I don't know whether that will happen or wouldn't happen. Hoping to hear something about that soon for the Achroma tools. Yeah, absolutely, Lewis. You are one of the ones on our list to be contacted. Don't you worry. You and all the other content creators that are currently active in our Discord will be getting some specific last Snow Dragons of Altari cards that are exclusive to each content creator to reveal. So yes, that'll be coming very, very soon, including Achroma tools. Don't you worry. So that is about the last Snow Dragons of Altari. When it comes to the previews later in the stream, we have got loads of previews to show you, so stick around for that. But this poster is beautiful. I believe there is an image in the Discord. If you want to have it as your screen wallpaper, it is in the Discord. I'll tag it again later. I've got it as my wallpaper, as you can see. But it is really, really beautiful. I love those dragons in the background. So we'll come back to the last Snow Dragons in a bit when we look at previews. But first, in other news, on Saturday, we had the Draco Summer Grand Tournament. So this was a bit of a inaugural one because we had it running in 2 locations. So the image you're seeing now, this was at the Five Realms Gaming Lounge in Poole. So this is kind of like the main one, as it were. So let's talk firstly about that one. So with the turnout of 14 players, it was always going to be a very, very close fight. Thank you to everybody that made the trip down and was able to attend. Although I wasn't there myself, I heard it was a really, really fun day. We had a lot of last-minute sickness, and there was some people that had travel issues. So anyone that couldn't make it, we hope that you can now, hope they're now feeling better. There was a great mixture of palettes, but the end winner was Antonomy. Congratulations, who won using the Raiders palettes. But yeah, I heard there were some really fun palettes on display. I know there's a lot of people in chat that were there now, so feel free to tell me in chat your opinions of how it was. I do want that. Yes, yeah, they've got the Five Realms Gaming specific playmats. I didn't even know about those until I saw this image given to me. I do also hope they'll be for sale at some point because they are very, very cool, aren't they? But yeah, very cool. It was a great time. Good to see me front and center. Absolutely, with the lovely hats. We missed you in Poole. Yeah, I know. I do want to come down to Poole again soon. I was all with the car problems, so couldn't make it to Bash. Wait, no, it's me nearly using the pre-con palette. Delete this image. Nah, not at all. Not at all, Hass. It's there, unfortunately. It's on the internet. Can't be taken back. But yeah, I'll definitely be down again soon. But yeah, so thank you to everybody that attended there. I heard it was really good. So we also had it running at Bash as well. Again, there was more sickness and also scheduling conflicts. There was other tournaments going at the same time. I will say now that it's definitely been reflected on by the team as to we could have definitely chosen a different date for the Bash one, because there are a lot of the Bash. I mean, at Bash, at any one given time, we can probably get about 15 to 20 people playing, but a lot of them, there was other tournaments running on the same day that people needed to attend. There was sickness, there was holiday. So yeah, we're definitely going to reflect and have a look at how we can better facilitate it for the next season. I think the likelihood is next season, as much as it's lovely to have on the same day, I think we're going to look to have it on separate days, maybe the same weekend, maybe alternate weekends, who knows, but we're going to look to have it potentially on different days to give more people a chance. And obviously more notice. It's definitely not lost on us that the Bash one was relatively late notice based on, again, planning. So yes, we are going to look into that. But that being said, even though it was a smaller turnout for Bash, it was still really, really fun. So thank you to the guys that turned up and came and played. It was really good. Extra shout out to Rich, pictured bottom left, who did come in his monastery keeper cosplay, which was brilliant. And again, it was, you know, I was actually at this one. It was really, really fun. It was great to see a mixture of palettes. You know, we saw palettes being played from all the different chronicles. Really, really fair gaming. Everyone had fun. It was really, really close to the end as well. But congratulations to Sadistic, who was the winner here, who actually won, not with Raiders, although Raiders was used to get into the final. But in the final, Sadistic won it with his Curdle Cove location heavy palette against Richie's kind of the Lost Fairies control palette, which it was a really close matchup. It came down to the last game, but really, really well played by everybody. It was a great one. What else have we got in the chat here? I had good fun stealing everybody's cards secretly. Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. There'll be people that want to attend both. I agree. Think put a date out from the start of the event. Yeah, you know, the reason why the dates weren't out sooner, Heron, was purely because we were trying to liaise with the Bash team to be able to get the event started. You know, it's not that we were holding the date back. It's just that essentially it took us that long to schedule the actual date in. But this season, we're going to look to try and get it done even earlier to, again, help and make it better for everybody. Charlie, I would drive to the Milton Keynes exclusion zone to road trip with you. Absolutely, yeah. I know that Taurus and Dickon and a few others that are from the kind of Oxfordshire area. If you guys wanted to commute to Milton Keynes, I could then do a big car share up to Bash. We could do it like that. That could work quite well. Yeah, it was really fun, Shaz. Great to meet you, mate. If I was there, I'd be running Hod or Mutan. That would be cool. That'd be cool, Heron. But yeah, so overall, though, between both of the grand tournaments, very well done to the winners. Thank you to everybody that played. And we look forward to seeing you all for the Sparata grand tournament, which will obviously be later in the year. More details to follow, hopefully very, very soon. So next bit of news is around the alt art competition. So I know that it's been asked a couple of times in the Discord today. I just wanted to mention that we don't have the winners just yet. The team have been looking at them this week, but it is very, very tough decision to make. The team are going to have some more meetings next week and make some final decisions. So it should hopefully be next week that we have the winners announced. I will obviously let you know as soon as we know. But if anything, it's credit to all of the people that actually entered, because you've made the team's job very, very difficult, because they can only pick currently 3 winners unless they decide to do more. And yeah, we had 44 entries in the end, and they were brilliant. So very, very tough job for them. Is the next round tournament going to be in 3 months' time? If so, that's Christmas. So the honest answer, Dickon, is I don't know. You know, it's not my decision to make. It would be scheduled for December. You know, if we go by how we've run all of the other seasons, then it would be December. I would imagine that if we are going to run it in December, it would likely be towards the start of the month. So maybe early December rather than late December. Obviously, because late December would cause issues with Christmas and New Year's. But the honest answer is I cannot tell you because I do not know. It's something we're going to be looking at, obviously, as we now enter the Sparata event and getting booked in ASAP. Again, so that everybody can book it in. What else have we got in the chat? I kind of want to see a Hidden Gem tourney, only allowing Realmless Legendaries. Yeah, definitely speak to the guys at Hidden Gem, and I'm sure they would enjoy hosting that. Lewis says, we got a few ideas, Taurus, but it'd be good to get you down at some point in the future. I'm not surprised it's taking another week, just how good they are. Exactly, Heron. And you're hoping to have a car that's not going to fall apart. That would be a good idea as well. So yes, the alt art will have more next week. Next bit of news is around the creative writing competition. So as a reminder, we're currently halfway through the creative writing competition. You have until next Sunday to submit your entries. If you were not aware that we were doing a creative writing competition, I'm not going to go through all of the details right now. You can find the full details on our Discord underneath the giveaways channel. To give you a quick rundown, what you need to do is, this is one of the images from the Draco Chapter 2. And a few weeks ago, we said that the writing competition was going to be, looking at this image, you need to write a short story or creative writing, like a poem or something, 1,000 words or less, with the idea of looking at this image, what happened here? Because we all agreed when we first saw this image that it's kind of like quite... You know, is it an outpost? Is it the last stand of, you know, did a big battle take place here? is this somewhere that the monks come to meditate or whatever? You know, so we're asking you to get creative and think, what happened here? And write a creative piece of writing, 1,000 words or less. Submit it to myself. It's going to be judged by the amazing Rachel Constantine, one of the co-creators of Achroma and one of the, you know, masterminds behind all of the lore. So she's going to be reading every single one of them, and she will be the judge. And the winner is going to get some Draco Chapter 2 cards, which is awesome. So yeah, you can find all the details and the rules and regulations in the Discord. And just as a reminder, you've got 1 week left on that. We have already had quite a few entries, and they've been brilliant so far, so please keep them coming. What else have we got in the chat? If it goes according to a plan, I'll be getting my hands on a 2018 Mini Cooper. Very nice. Cool. So next bit of news then is, you know, I wouldn't be doing my job properly if I didn't mention this, that every single season we have a seasonal promotional card. So this is Draco Summer for the Draco Summer season. Now the Draco Summer season does end next week, at the end of next week, so the 30th of September. And once that date hits, you will no longer be able to get the Draco Summer promo cards, you know, in the normal ways. You know, if we do have leftovers, then we'll find a way to get them out. But in the conventional way to get them, which is purchasing any of our products in the Achroma store or Five Realms Gaming Lounge and spending £30 or more to get one automatically added to your order, or attending any events. So anyone that went to, obviously, the Grand Tournaments will have got one, but there's no more events. So what I'm trying to say, folks, is if you haven't already got your Draco Summer promo card, then you should definitely consider pre-ordering Draco Chapter 2 or purchasing anything off of our website, £30 or more, to get it automatically added to your basket if you want to get your hands on this promo card. Cool. Seb left his at the shop yesterday. Oh no, it's fine. I'm sure he can go and collect it and that won't be a problem at all. So yes, make sure to get that. So the next thing is we're looking at events moving forward. So as always, I like to mention it that if you live near Poole in Dorset or can travel down to it, the Five Realms Gaming Lounge Cafe is there. And every Thursdays at 6 p.m. they run Achroma Thursdays, which is a casual kind of tournament and also casual play of Achroma. It's £2 to enter the mini event where you can win some awesome Achroma prizes based on how many players turn up. If you don't want to pay, that you can still come and play Achroma, that's perfectly fine. You know, just basically come along, play Achroma, it's good fun. Definitely check out Achroma on Thursdays, 6 p.m. at the Five Realms Gaming Lounge. And there is also, if you live anywhere near Sheffield area, there is Patriot Games every Monday at 6:15. They run the Achroma palette practice from 6:15. So again, the links for those are down beneath the stream if you want to see their event links. Definitely go and play there as well together. Now, it's not on my news list, but I know it's already been asked in stream. So at this point, I'll talk about the Sparta season. I have very, very, very limited information about the Sparta season, so I will struggle to answer any questions, and I will say that I will aim to get more information for you for next week, because obviously this time next week will be the first day of the Sparta season. All I can say that as far as I'm aware, the Sparta season is still starting. And Bash Bash on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. I should mention that as well. But yes, as far as I'm aware, the season is starting next Sunday, just like how all the other seasons start. And as far as I'm aware, it's still running through the normal 3 months. So it'll be October, November, and December. And as far as I'm aware, we're still doing the regular narrative events, whereby you'll be fighting for Chroma versus Achroma with the Achrometer. There will obviously be a Sparta Chapter 2 release, and there will still be a grand tournament. What I don't know, folks, is, it's quite, I'm not going to dart around the obvious, which is Draco has been very delayed. All of the Draco events have been quite delayed. So therefore, inherently, there is going to be then a slight delay on Sparta as well, unless the team have some form of plan to be able to turn it around. You can imagine that some of the Sparta events may be slightly delayed, and we appreciate your patience with this. I will let you know ASAP in the Discord if there is actually going to be a delay to the actual start of the Sparta season, and therefore, the Achrometer event. I will let you know in Discord ASAP, but unless you hear otherwise, you can safely assume that the Achrometer event will be starting next Sunday. In terms of when the in-store event will be, the narrative event, it will definitely not be next weekend, but in terms of the date it will be, as soon as we know, we'll let you guys know. Same thing for the promo cards and stuff stuff like that. But unfortunately, I have no further information for you at this time, other than as soon as I know, we will let you know. But again, it's not lost on us that we want to get the information out ASAP. It's done me good for 3 years, but not gonna lie, another. Oh, you're talking about cards. That's okay. I have a 208 electric GT. Yeah, I wish I had the 308. That'd be lovely. Anyway, back to Achroma. So next, then we have some previews for you folks. So as I said, that now we have sent the last Snow Dragons of Altari off to the printer. We can now give you some proper sneak peeks of this next set. So the first image I've got for you is the promo cards. Now, to be fair, most of you could probably guess what the promo card's going to be. So this one is probably the least surprising, but it is obviously going to be the poster art. So the image that I showed you earlier, which we did see, is the poster art. So that is going to be the promo card. It is unsurprisingly going to be 4 Shard Steel 2 because it's following the same premise as all of the other promo cards. Obviously, the only thing that you guys wouldn't have known is the shard. So yes, it's always going to have the 1 Acrom, but no red in it. It is dark blue and 2 cyan. Yeah, double cyan, which, correct me if I'm wrong, folks. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first location promo card to not have 4 individual shards. I think all of the other locations don't have doubles. Yeah, so Achroma Storehouse is going to be loving this one. Oh, Colonel Who had double Acrom. There we go. I didn't. I could have saw there was another one with double, but yes, very, very cool. I mean, even though we knew what this card was going to look like, it's still really awesome, isn't it? But what's really nice is that, you know, when it comes to promo cards, I know that we had the chat on Realm Table segment a few weeks ago about, you know, there are some people that just haven't been able to get their hands on the previous Draco Temple promo card. So as a reminder, if you didn't get the Draco Temple promo card, if you get your hands on this promo card, this can be built into palettes with Draco Temple. So although I appreciate that you could still argue, but yes, people that have the Draco Temple can now palette build with both, it's still nice to get. So yeah, very nice. Yeah, so Achroma Storehouse is going to be good. And actually, funny story, folks, when we get into the Realm Table segment in a moment, I mean, we may as well start the Realm Table segment now, we are going to be talking about how are these cards going to work well with the original Draco Chronicle. So yes, Achroma Storehouse is going to be amazing with it. So that is the promo card. So what I want to show you next, folks, is I'm going to reveal to you the 2 keywords and how they work. So we saw on stream a few weeks ago, the 24-hour stream, we have announced what the keywords are. They're called freeze and hunt. But I'd like to think that you guys would like to now know what they mean. So shall we go through? More Drakes. There will be some more Drakes coming. We could, but we need to see the new cards. Yeah. Also, Dark Blue Rift. Yes, very true. All right, let's see the new keywords. So the first one is hunt. So once per turn, you may choose a character on another player's canvas to hunt. If both the target character and the card that initiated hunt are both still on the canvas at the start of your next turn, resolve the hunt effect. So we've got an example card on the right-hand side, so let's talk through this. So we've got Dark Hunter here, which is a 3-cost Acrom card with a -1 on the resolve. With the keyword hunt, erase the character targeted by the hunt. So essentially, let's say you play Dark Hunter. You think of hunt as almost like a bit of a, you know, as soon as you play it, you would choose another character on another canvas. So let's say I chose Funguar on someone else's canvas. That character is now hunted. At the end of my, when it comes back round to my next turn, so at the start of my next turn, if Dark Hunter and the Funguar are still on the canvas, then Funguar would then be erased because of this ability. So it's kind of like a delayed action, yes. Now, obviously, the actual effect of the hunt is different. So not every hunt is, you know, erase the character, as we're going to look at some cards in a moment. But yes, the actual keyword hunt just means choose a character on another canvas, and at the start of your next turn, if that character and the hunter is still there, whatever the effect is, happens. And there's some really cool actions that are going to happen. So yeah, what we got in chat so far? Let me get your opinion. So what do you think so far to this, folks? Obviously, we're going to look at some cards in a moment. I've been looking forward to this since the first playtest. Yeah, I appreciate we have got some playtesters in the chat. And obviously, for the playtesters in the chat, you know, you're welcome to talk about how you found this keyword in playtesting. But just please don't talk about any cards that have not been revealed. What about poison? So what do you mean, what about poison, Rich? Oh, if you hunt a poison character, then yeah, it would be erased. With this particular card, if you, so you're not attacking a poisonous character, you're hunting it. So if I was to play Dark Hunter and choose Fungua who's poisonous, and then don't attack the Fungua, at the start of my next turn, Fungua would be erased, the Dark Hunter stays alive, because you're not actually attacking the character, you're hunting them, like they're like throwing a spear or whatever. You're already seeing this plus protection effects help characters survive synergies. Yeah, exactly. So you play Dark Hunter, hunt their legendary, then play some protection, like Impundulu's Feather or something onto Dark Hunter, so that, the counter to hunt is your opponent is going to want to erase the hunter. So you're going to want to protect your hunters so that, it comes back round. Yeah, exactly. Ray and Copper Joss are probably going to be the prime targets of hunts. This sounds hard to pull off in multiplayer. I guess, yeah, in multiplayer, it's going to get harder. But then again, not necessarily, Dickon, because let's say you're playing a 6-player game. So I'm player 1, Dickon, you're player 2. Let's play, yeah, you're player 2. I play a card, and I hunt one of your cards, Dickon. The other players aren't going to help you. The other players aren't going to also try and get rid of the hunter, because the other players probably want my hunter to stay alive to get rid of your card. So you could even argue it would be easier in multiplayer, because actually the opponents might not want to get rid of your hunter, because that if they get rid of your hunter, it'll also get rid of it won't get rid of the card that would get rid of it. You wouldn't hunt a child. But yeah, so that is the keyword hunt. We'll have a look more at it as we look at some of the other cards. Would you guys like to see the other keyword? It depends on the game state, I guess. If you're likely going to be the one that is going to be winning, then they'll hunt you. So yeah, it's going to be interesting in multiplayer, I think, is the answer there. Okay, so let's have a look at the next one. So we know the next keyword is called freeze. So here's how freeze works. So when you freeze a card, the chosen card becomes frozen. This card cannot resolve until the start of your next turn. So frozen cards are called freeze. And the keyword frozen is any card that has been frozen. Essentially, in short, if you freeze a card, that card cannot resolve until the start of your next turn. Yeah, very strong. So it's going to shut. That is a snowball cannon. No, those are balls of ice. Those are balls of ice, rather than they're not snowballs. They're gonna pack a punch. Like they're gonna break some skulls if they're fired. Again, we looked at this artwork last week and I love it. So yes, so this is gonna be this is a keyword that's going to really. No, unfortunately, we can't rename it. Unfortunately, it's already gone to print. But yeah, so this is going to be a keyword that's going to be really useful. What we're seeing a lot of at the moment is we're seeing a lot of palettes that are very. They can win in 2 or 3 turns because of how quickly they can get to 30 from... I mean, I'm not talking about raiders. That's a separate issue. But, things like... look at fairies, for example. Fairies have always been very, very strong because they can resolve very quickly to get to 30. Freeze is a direct counter to any chroma palette that can win in a couple of turns. Play a couple of freeze cards down, and suddenly you are negating their gain for a turn. So for example, the card we've got here, Ice Cannon, it's a 1-cost cyan object. Once during your turn, you may freeze a card. So whilst Ice Cannon is out, every turn you can say, yep, that card on that canvas is frozen, meaning it cannot resolve until the start of your next turn. And to be very clear, even if Ice Cannon is then erased, that doesn't stop the freeze. So if I play Ice Cannon, choose your Ray, and then on your turn, you attack the Ice Cannon, erased it, the freeze doesn't instantly disappear. Obviously, it means on my turn I couldn't freeze again. But yeah, you can counter long-term freeze, but you can't stop that. Yeah, I assume so because splatting isn't resolving. So yeah, so if I was to freeze Copper Joss as an example, Anti, then Copper Joss wouldn't be able to get her +3, but she would be able to splat another card because that's an ability, not a resolve. And then that card could then resolve. If, there will be some cards that freeze the entire canvas or freeze multiple cards. So let's say you had 2 characters out and I freeze both of them. Technically, yes, Copper Joss could splat the other one and that one could splat that one, but then you can't then resolve that splat because they're frozen. Make sense? It's a bonbon blowpipe. So the frozen cards can still use abilities, they just can't resolve. If their ability is to resolve, for example, Huxon, Huxon's ability is the fact that he's got the extra resolve. No, you can't do it. Anything that resolves you shards, no. But yes, you can still do abilities. However, if you targeted Isadora, she wouldn't get any resolve. Yes, exactly, yeah. Dark Rainbow for the freeze, please. Oh, yeah, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, so that is freeze. Again, you know, be honest in chat, folks. What are you thinking of these keywords? Because what we're going to talk about for essentially the round table segment is we're going to be talking about how do we think these keywords are going to mix with all of the others. But in the meantime, would you guys like to see some cards? I've got 5 cards to show you this week. And these are full cards. And to be very clear, we're going to be we've got quite a lot of creators in the community right now. Creators are going to be given their own exclusive cards to reveal in the coming days and weeks. So you are going to have to go and check out the other content creators to see some more. Free seems best as mechanic so far. I mean, I like Hunt. I mean, we're going to see some examples of Hunt that might change your mind. Freeze for now seems stronger until we see all of the cards. I'll be honest, I won't tell you what Freeze used to be, because then, you know, obviously playtesting has happened, but believe it or not, Freeze has had a nerf. It used to be even stronger. So let's have a look at some of the cards. The first one I've got in no particular order is Ogle. So we've actually already... Troy said, just you wait. Welcome in, Troy. We should say round of applause, by the way, for Troy. Troy has been one of the leading team members on creating some of these new cards. Troy's been doing a great job with these. And Troy has been doing a great job with the playtest team as well, Troy. I know we've chewed your ear off quite a bit, haven't we? Yeah, so Ogle. We've seen the artwork for this one before. So Ogle is a rare card for strength +2, which is, you know, good resolve. And the ability is Hunt, dig for a... Now, Troy, I might need your assistance. I might need you to type for me in chat how to pronounce this. Aluros? Aluros card? So you can see at the top right that... Aluros is the character type. So imagine the cat people must be called Aluros. Again, I don't know all of the information, folks. I'm getting to see this for the first time with you guys. So the idea here is that you play Ogle, you hunt another character. If Ogle and that other character are both still on the canvas when it comes back round to your turn, you're not going to be erasing that character, but the ability you get is you would get to dig for an Aluros card. So not every hunt ability is going to be to erase it. It's going to be, you get the ability if your hunt is successful. Freeze, I assume, is essentially a restraint for one turn. No, not necessarily. Heron, that doesn't surprise me one bit with Freeze. Troy says, it's all great feedback. Not listening to the community is a big mistake. Personally, I don't know. Oh, you don't know, but I would say Aluros. Aluros? I'm gonna have to ask other core team members and find out. So I apologize to the core team if I'm absolutely destroying it right now. But yeah, Ogle is very, very colorful. Yeah, we've got a cyan, a green, a yellow, and a red, which actually is quite interesting to see, because when you compare it to Draco Chapter 1, Draco Chapter 1 wasn't very color wide. It was very much blue, cyan, red. Yes, there was a few yellow. There was I think the occasional magenta, if any. But it was very contained. Oh, you're right. Is that the first green in Draco? No, there has to be a green in Draco. Someone else can go look in the database. There has to be a green in Draco. Oh, Dragon Pendant. Dragon Pendant. So it's not the first, but green is very low. Troy, yeah, Dan and Jack are the people to ask about that. So Lewis has got a good question, Troy, and I would like to confirm. So the fact that it doesn't say action, are we going with that you can do it once per turn? Because like other keywords, it's where it's written without the word action, it's a once per turn thing. So is that essentially where you see hunt, it's once per turn, you can do a new hunt, and then, if you get round to your turn and it's still there, you can dig for a lures card, and then you can rehunt, dig again, rehunt, dig again, provided the target stay there. Is that correct, Troy? But you're all right, Shah, that, yeah, there's very, very minimal green. It'll be interesting to see whether, is this the only green card in Chapter 2, or are we going to have more? Who knows? We might see. In the meantime, let's have a look at the next card. So that is Ogle. If you can, this card is essentially a Cotworth's Den with a body. Yeah, pretty much. So next then, we've got another rare. We've got Ursus Yorsusma. Your Susma? Yeah, Jack and Dan are the people to ask about that. Again, I am probably destroying these names. I do apologize. So we have seen this amazing polar bear before. We saw the artwork tee. So this is Ursusma. So Ursusma is a heroic character, a creature. They are prevent 2 for their resolve. They cost 4, a dark blue, a red, and a cyan. So I can hear you guys getting excited about more Chroma Storehouse options. And Ursusma may attack locations. So it's a built-in ability that Ursusma can essentially go and guzzle up those locations. Yeah, which is always really, really good. Yeah, your Susma. So yes, hunt is now once per turn keyword. With extensive playtesting, we decided it was more balanced to make it once per turn thing. Now you can use the cards to the best potential, which I think that makes sense for hunt, considering that hunt is a very much a setup thing where, you know, you've got to play it, you've then got to choose a character and wait for your turn. I think it's nice to be rewarded by, you know, you can do it every turn. It's just that you then got to wait. So yeah, very, very cool. Ursusma. Yes, probably Ursusma rather than your Susma. Yeah. When your mum said you weren't in trouble, your Susma. But yes, a very good prevent rare and being able to attack location. So a very, very strong creature there. Oh, we haven't been reading the lore. Let's read the lore. So Ogul, a matriarch and respected Snivari. Ogul's calling is to connect with dragons. I'm sure there's a lot of you in the community that want to connect with dragons. So a lot of you can probably synergize there with Ogul. Rascavi, to be precise. So Ursusma was saved and raised by the Snivari, now armored in the scales of a mighty flame dragon, so she may protect the tribe. I wasn't sure about it yet, so she may protect the tribe. Brilliant. So those are dragon scales that she's wearing. Can see that being a good generic rare for Draco. Trade 4 kills me. Yeah, you're actually right. Although generic can sometimes sound like a bad word, I do agree, Auntie. I feel like this is a rare that could really go into any Draco palette and work really, really well. Because obviously this is the thing with this new chapter, a bit like Curdle Cove. It's not just about how well do these cards work with the other cards, but also it's thinking about how it works with chapter 1. Very nice. You guys ready for the next one? Let's do it. The next one, I believe, is a legendary. You guys ready to see the first legendary? I think we've already seen the artwork for this one. Oh no, it's a rare. It's a rare. Ignore me. I thought it was legendary. I haven't actually seen these. I can only see the thumbnail, so I can see like a teeny tiny version of it. So this is Hurusk. We have seen this artwork before. Again, beautiful artwork. Well done by Matt Vince again. So this is a heroic dragon. So we have got a new dragon. 3 cost +2. So that's quite a cheap way to get a +2. Very, very nice. Action. Freeze all cards on other canvases. So Hurusk is a really, really good ability card to put it down and go, that's it. You've got all of these fairies out, you've got all of these pixies out, you've got all of these, you know, trolls out. Nope, for this turn, all cards on all of the canvases, no resolve. Yeah, but it's cheap. Yeah, very, very cheap. I think if it was freeze all cards on every canvases every turn, that'd be crazy. The fact it's just one action, yeah, it's kind of it's a one-hit wonder, isn't it? You play it, it does its job by freezing characters. If it happens to survive a couple of turns, great resolve. If it doesn't, it's done its job. Yeah, that's going to be in every palette. I know, right, Char? Yeah, it punishes overextending. Yeah, dig it up with Graveyard. Yeah, now you're thinking, Char. Digging up Harrow with Graveyard. I love it. Thank God Draco doesn't have bounce. Yeah, it's all players. So Hurusk is going to be a really good multiplayer card. Yeah, it's very much a glass cannon. But, as Char said, there's ways to dig it back up with Draco. Obviously, thinking back to Draco Temple, Draco Graveyard, keep getting Hurusk out. That's a really good, like, kind of mid to late game palette. Which I think we can all agree that the way the Achroma meta currently is it's very much about winning very quickly. You know, 2 or 3 turn wins. You know, mid to late game palettes aren't really doing too well at the moment. Cards like this might just change the meta around, where actually build a palette which is all around slowing everybody else down so that you can win mid to late game. But yeah, it might be a one-hit wonder, but Graveyard and Research, yeah. Yeah, Draco's tier 2 to dig. And Materno's Egg can play. Yes, Materno's Egg. Yeah, Materno's Egg, which, for reference, for those who don't know Materno's Egg, let me just bring that up on my screen here. Draco Temple. It's an uncommon object. So there you go. Materno's Egg is reveal a dragon with a shard value of 3 or less. So Materno's Egg can now actually be used to get Hurusk, which is pretty awesome. What else have we got? You could reaction and even hit the cards that play that turn. Absolutely. Dick and I were saying yesterday in the car that it would be cool to see some more slower decks like Norso. Yeah, so maybe this might be the start of the mid to late game meta. I'm getting Hisano flashbacks with that logic, Lewis. Troy says, don't be sure about bounce, Lewis. Oh. Welcome in, Cruiser. Not unlike a band I recently listened, Busted. I like the pun. But yeah, I think that's going to be a fan favorite. I like Harusk. That's cool. And yes, yellow, which means that you I'm not sure how many other yellow shards are going to be in this palette, but pair it with the where's the Realmless cards? What is it? Algiz. You could use Algiz to find and play it. So you could almost have a palette that has no other yellow in, then play Algiz to find that dragon. Yeah, well, there we go. Rich, we had the same thought process. Oops goes to resolve, dispose Materno's egg. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you could have Materno's... Is Materno's egg... yeah, Materno's egg is disposed to play a dragon that's 3 or less, right? Yeah. So you could have Materno's egg ready so that as soon as your opponent plays too many cards, you could be like, yeah, no, dispose of that. Play Harusk. No resolve for you. Oh, I like that. I like that. Oh, is that what you... Sorry, that's what you said. Your reaction to hit the card. Sorry, Lewis. Giving the credit to Anti there. I didn't, the connection didn't go for me. Does freeze affect new cards that are played? No. So think of it like a wave of freeze happening there and then. So if you play Harusk, freeze all the cards on other canvases, and then on your turn, Heron, you then play Ray can resolve because it's only the ones that are there frozen at the time. Cool, so that is Harusk. Very nice. You guys ready for the next card? I've got 2 more, I believe, to show you. I know one of them is legendary because I can see the rainbow effect. The next one, I believe, is another rare. This one should be everyone's favorite, purely because of the circumstances. We have Crackle. So yes, we did see this artwork sneak peeks the other week. So this is Crackle, who, as you can see from the lore... Oh, we didn't read the lore of Harusk. This disheartened dragon has lost her way. Harusk thinks dragons give the tribes undeserved respect, and when they should instead be showing strength. Ooh, so there's a bit of a fight going on between the tribes and the dragons. But anyway, back to Crackle. Crackle is indeed Dexter, Master of Dragons' loving companion. So yes, Crackle, this is the companion of Dexter. So Crackle was a legendary. I wasn't sure if he was going to be legendary or a rare. So Crackle is a legendary, which does mean that you won't be able to have Dexter and Crackle unless it's in a heroes palette. He's a baby. So yes, we have got Heroic Dragon. 5 cost with everything except for dark blue. And the ability is X, so gain X, and X equals the number of frozen cards on all canvases. Action, freeze all cards with shard value of 3 or less. So that is, I mean, you can have Dexter with his friends, but in a heroes palette, because let's be honest, Crackle is a hero, as is Dexter, so which makes sense. So you guys are going to have to just build some good Heroes decks. Heroes is an unloved format at the moment. Let's play some more Heroes in the Discord. So yes, very, very powerful card. So as an action, you can... yeah, exactly, play Heroes. As an action, you freeze all cards with a shard value of 3 or less. That's a good question. I believe it is going to hit your own canvas. Yeah, because it doesn't say all cards on other canvases. It's all cards. So it would also freeze... your yeah, it would freeze your own cards, but obviously it wouldn't freeze Crackle himself because he's 5 shards. So it's a bit of a hit, but then again, you'd probably want that. What you'd want to do is you'd want to play loads of cheap dragons that don't resolve for very much, like, for example, Draco Hatchling, Draco Fledgling, for example. You know, a lot of dragons in Draco Temple don't actually have resolve. But then, you know, play Crackle. Imagine a 6-player game. Let's say there's, 20 cards between 6 players with a 3 or less. Yeah, giga gain time. Crackle is massive, and that's every single turn. But obviously, after that first round, all of the cards will unfreeze. So you could play Crackle first, get the resolve, and then on your next turn, play Harusk to then freeze everything again for another big hit. So yeah, Crackle is going to be a great legendary with freeze. Interesting that one card doesn't have its blue. Yeah, doesn't have blue. I do like heroes. So yeah, heroes is good. I'm going to start building heroes side decks for my palettes. Yeah, that's actually what I tend to do, Auntie. I normally build canvas palettes, and then I build 10 cards that I would throw into that canvas palette to make it heroes, rather than building completely separate palettes, because then it makes it really easy. Like, if suddenly someone says, hey, I want a game of heroes, you just take a canvas palette you like and just whack your 10 card booster into it. Yeah, we like heroes at Bash. Very nice. Cruiser says, now this has got my brain going. Combo this with Materno palette and synergizing little dragons and you have massive game winning. Yeah, absolutely. Have Materno to protect all of your small dragons, then play Crackle. I like it, Cruiser. Yeah. I think there's obviously going to be a lot of synergy between Chapter 2 and Chapter 1. The fact that obviously we have got returning dragons and drakes. Yeah, Crackle. Very, very cool. What a great legendary he is. So I believe I have one more legendary to show you, unless this one's a rare. I knew I had one legendary. Maybe this was it. I think the next one's legendary too. Are we ready? The last one. I can see I'm pretty certain it's an Achroma card. We've got Kokora Bree. So yes, this is a legendary, presumably for the Achroma faction. So heroic character. Again, it's a Aluros character type. 6 cost, steal 3, so comparable to Tenebris. The action is at the start of your next turn. If Kokora Bree is still on your canvas, erase all characters on all other canvases. So it's a big, yeah, you knew they were Achroma looking. So it's a big wipe card, all characters on all the canvases, but you have to wait until the start of your next turn. It is an action. Very, very cool. And a big amount of steal. You know, a lot of people rate Tenebris quite high as a character due to the fact that you're stealing 3. You don't get many cards that steal 3. Yeah, very, very nice indeed. So yeah, very good against character-heavy palettes like Sparata, Lakringi tribes, dragons. Yeah, very, very strong. Obviously, if you go against a location-heavy palette, it's going to maybe fall a bit flat, but very cool. And triple cyan. Very, very good for Chroma Storehouse if you're doing a cyan build, which honestly, that's what I'm most looking forward to is cyan builds. Very nice. Okay, so there we go. Those are the 5 cards that I'm revealing to you this week, as well as the key words, or 6 cards technically. Doesn't even hit your own. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It doesn't hit your own. I think if it hit your own, I think that would probably make him so-so. I think the fact it is others is what makes him good. Definitely going to have to try this out. Easy trade for 6 if not effective. Yeah. And the Snivari heir turned his back on his tribe. Ooh. Turned his back on his tribe. Interesting. Yeah. Definitely gonna have to try this. Yeah, easy trade for 6, yeah. So let's have a little discussion now. So this is what I kind of wanted the Realm Table segment to be, although we've kind of been doing it already because we're already 20 minutes into the Realm Table sort of area. So let's have a little think then, folks. Just with the keywords freeze and hunt, and you know these characters, which I will put in the Discord. If you want to see any of them again, let me know, and I'll bring them back on the screen. I'll leave hunt on the screen for now. So how do you think these are going to work with other realms? So let's start with Curdle Hill and Curdle Cove. So how do we think hunt and freeze is going to work versus, you know, claim, restrain, secrets, what's the other one? Divert. Because I guess you could divert freeze. If you go to freeze an ability, your opponent can divert it. So that's going to be quite... Divert's going to be a bit strong. Like, divert's going to be a good counter to freeze. I guess also hunt as well, actually, for that matter. Because you could divert the hunt to a character that you could then happily, like, sacrifice or attack into something to lose it, maybe? So against Cove, hunt and freeze might struggle. Secret doesn't really change much, really. Obviously, claim and restrain, well, you know, I imagine that hunt is a good counter to claim and restrain because I imagine that, and again, I'm not sure if Troy is still in the stream here. I imagine that if I play Dark Hunter and let's say I hunt your, I don't know, your Mage's Elite Detective, and then you claim the Dark Hunter, because the hunter and the hunted is still on a canvas. It doesn't say, it just says on the canvas. So it's on a canvas. At the start of my next turn, I would still get the ability, but presumably then the opponent can then has the every turn. So I would still get the effect of Oh, actually, that's a really good question for Troy. In that particular, in Dark Hunter's particular instance, even if you claim Dark Hunter, the card that is hunted would still get erased. But what in the what about card like Ogle? A question I have for Troy and the team. So once it's claimed, the hunt will be called off as you can't hunt cards during canvas. Ah, okay, that makes sense. So claim is so claim is a counter to hunt, because as soon as it's on not obviously I'll make sure to write that into the FAQs that as soon as the hunter and the hunted are on the same canvas, the hunt will off because you're on the same team, I guess. So why would you be hunting each other? That makes sense. So you can't hunt other people as it is other people's canvas. Okay, interesting. So yeah, so claim and restrain are hard counters. And yes, divert's not necessarily a counter, but it's definitely a good thing to have, because obviously you could then divert where that hunt or where that freeze is going to be going. Interesting. Okay, so what do we think about actually we'll come to Draco last, considering that Draco is obviously the bigger discussion because you can mix and match. What do we think about hunt and freeze versus Sparata, folks? So against splat and squish. And technically shard reduction, although it's not a key word. I know that there's a lot of shard reduction in Sparata. Whilst I just get myself a bit more drink, what do you guys think freeze and hunt's going to be against those? Yeah, Salem having all the easy counters again is annoying. That's what I would say. I would agree, Taurus, that I would say hunt and freeze, the biggest moment is for Sparata. Mainly freeze, let's be honest. Being able to freeze, splat, and squish, that's massive. Because Sparata, I think we agreed when we spoke on stream a few weeks ago that we said that Sparata is currently the sort of the top realm for strength, just purely because of how quickly they can resolve to 30 and how quickly they can drain you to 0. But freeze is a direct counter for that. And also with the extent how trade buff work, yeah, very true. I would have said steel would work just like hard effect if someone takes control of the player. I think the reason why is because you can't hunt. It makes sense, Heron, that what Troy said, that you wouldn't hunt something that's on your side. So as soon as you claim, the hunt is off, which makes sense. But you have to freeze all the squish splat targets. Yeah, that is the thing. You would have to do a really heavy freeze build to, yeah, just having one card that says freeze isn't going to obviously stop squish and splat, but it would definitely slow Sparata down. Even if it doesn't, it's not going to necessarily win you the game just putting freeze in your palette. You still have to have a palette that gains or drains yourself, but it's going to slow Sparata down quite significantly. Freeze hurts. Hunt might be so-so because it's lots of little characters we can hit things. Yeah. Because obviously the thing with the way to counter hunt is your opponent has one turn to be able to either erase the hunter or just suicide the hunted into another character. Because obviously you can only hunt characters, you can't hunt locations. Interesting. Okay, so then what do we think about Norso? So obviously Norso, we've got Shield Wall, which Shield Wall doesn't really have. Shield Wall doesn't really change much really with this, because if you hunt a character with Shield Wall, it doesn't really matter because Shield Wall is only applied when you get attacked. So Shield Wall is kind of like it hasn't got worse or better with Hunt and Freeze. Rage, I would actually say that Rage is a good counter to Hunt. Because you could, obviously with Rage, you could do multiple attacks. So you could, with one character, attack and erase multiple hunters. So you could sacrifice one character to attack twice to then get rid of multiple hunters. So you could argue Rage has that, is a bit better against Hunt. But yeah, Freeze is going to obviously be Freeze is really going to be good against everything, isn't it? Because it just stops resolve. But now you can't hunt locations. I mean, they might change it in the future, but I very much doubt they're going to change it now because it's been playtested as it is. Yeah, Freeze deals with Astrid. Yeah, Freeze is just massive. You could put an Impundulu Feather with the Hunters. Yeah, I definitely think using a Hunt with protection cards is going to be really strong. Like, that's going to be how you... Like, if anyone says, oh, I'm struggling to make Hunt work, I would say use protection. Because that's going to be how you keep your hunter alive to make the effects work, or strong objects for that matter. Very cool. And then obviously, yeah. And then let's talk about Draco then. That's going to be the bigger topic. Oh yeah, mix it with defend. Absolutely. I mean, imagine giving a good hunter orb. I mean, have we got, I forget, we've got another hunt card. You know, imagine giving Ogle Jamship orb. But for those who know, Jamship orb means that your character can't be erased. And Jamship orb has protection, so it can only get rid of by cards like bounce, claim, restrain, or poisonous. So, you know, give Ogle that, and then I guess the only other way to counter hunts is by not playing characters, which I appreciate might hinder, but I know that, for example, Sadistic in the tournament on Saturday played a location-heavy palette. So for Sadistic's probably sat there at home going, I don't care about Hunt, that doesn't scare me at all. Because if you're playing a location-heavy palette, then Hunt basically means nothing to you. Freeze, however, on the other hand, scares everybody. Location, yeah, I mean, to be fair, there are some really strong location-heavy palettes in Draco as well, with Vast Volataris and stuff like that. So, okay, looking at some of these cards and some of these, I mean, we'll talk about Research and Sacrifice. I think Sacrifice is actually going to be a good counter to Hunt, actually, because if you're playing Hunt versus Sacrifice, if somebody hunts one of your cards, then you would just sacrifice that card, because it's more of an incentive to sacrifice it, which obviously, you know, if they're hunting your legendary, you don't really want to sacrifice that, but I would argue Sacrifice is a good counter to Hunt. Research basically is Research. It's not going to be affected by Hunt or Freeze, because you're still going to be able to do your research. It's just card draw, isn't it? But yeah, what do we think then? My next question to you folks is, I want to hear your brains and the cogs turning from the cards that you've seen so far and the keywords you've seen so far. What combos are you already thinking about when it comes to mixing Chapter 1 and Chapter 2? What's the first palette building thoughts in your mind? Troy says, don't worry about Hunt, just wait and see what's to come. Oh, I love that. It's cryptic. It's cryptic. But yeah, I can't wait. Obviously, as a playtester myself, I've seen a lot of the abilities. I can't wait for some of the cards to be shown to you guys. There's some the team have outdone themselves with this chapter, with just how cool some of the abilities are. I think you guys are going to love Chapter 2, and I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say, don't forget, folks, you can pre-order it with the link down below if you want to get your hands on the promo card, that one, and also the Draco Summer. So Lewis says, I think Hurrisk will be an issue. So let's bring up Hurrisk whilst we're talking about Hurrisk. It's an auto-include in any Achroma deck and possibly Chroma too. I agree. I think Hurrisk is going to be one of the most powerful. I mean, I obviously have seen the other rare cards, and I will say that some of the other rare cards are incredible, but I agree that Hurrisk is going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those cards that, going back to our tier list, sorry, I got itchy nose here. Going back to our tier list, in previous streams, we've done tier lists where we've always said that S tier cards are cards that you would put into any palette and it would be amazing. Hurrisk is one of those cards. I think that's already going to be an S tier card. You could put it into any Draco Planum palette and it's going to be brilliant. I think we could agree. S tier card right there, and S tier art for that matter. Yeah, Hurrisk with Draco Graveyard is going to be bonkers. And Sintamani Stone. Sintamani Stone, Draco's tier, and Draco Graveyard. You've now got... Oh, and... Yeah. Even just with those three, you could have a maximum of... If you had 2 Draco Graveyards, 2 Draco tiers, and a Sintamani Stone, you could have 5 cards in your palette that could replay Hurrisk. And let's be honest, if you're going to be playing this, do we all agree that you'd have to put the Legendary as Tengri? So that you have a rare that freezes Resolve and a legendary that stops them playing cards. Imagine playing a turn where you play Tengri in a 1v1, Tengri followed by Hurrisk in the same turn. Yeah, on your turn, you can't play any cards and you can't resolve. Would you like to draw and trade, maybe? I have to go, but enjoy talking about the new set. Let me know any FAQs. I will do, Troy. Thank you very much for joining in stream today. It's been very helpful answering questions. I appreciate it. Enjoy your evening. And if there's anything that I don't know the answer to, then we'll be sure to ask you. Thank you, mate. Enjoy your evening. What else have we got here? That'll be a fun thing. If you have Hunt with the orb and someone else has a card with the orb, Hunt will work all the time. Yeah, very true, Heron. Very true. You could even actually put the orb on someone else's character. You could give the orb to someone else. Like, put it on a really cheap character, like a one-shard one, just so that you have a permanent Hunt target. Yeah. Freeze and sacrifice. Yeah, that'd be cool. So you can stop all your opponents from resolving and then sacrifice your own cards. Yeah. So Taurus wants to talk about Kokora. So he's going to be extremely toxic with Crucial Discovery, Jamshid Orb combo. So what do you mean by Crucial Discovery? Let me bring Crucial Discovery up. I forget what Crucial Discovery does again. Reveal an object, then reveal an action. Right, I see. So you would use Crucial Discovery to reveal Jamshid Orb to put it on Kokora Bree. Yeah, that would be very, very cool combo. Yeah, I like that. Lewis says effectively cost 1 to make your opponent not resolve next turn. Yeah, I mean that's exactly what High Risk is. I agree, because the fact that you're getting +2 back on that turn, you're all right. You're effectively spending 1 shard to say that's it. You can't resolve for a turn. Yeah, Crucial Discovery finds them too. What do you mean Crucial Discovery finds them? Crucial Discovery wouldn't find a High Risk, because Crucial Discovery is only for objects and actions. You like annoying? Yeah, I can see people building a Tengri Hurrisk sacrifice with Draco Graveyard build and being just the absolute I'm going to annoy you. Or even Hisano and Hurrisk. The H's palette. Build as many cards into your palette that begin with H. Freeze locking is going to be a very annoying strategy. Again, yeah, I think Freeze is going to really kickstart a potential mid to late game meta, which could be really cool. Which will bring Norso back into the mix. It's what I did in the tournament for my Lost Fairies. Get fairies in your hand with Discovery to instantly protect them with the orb. Yeah, that's nice. Algas would work if you build the deck right. Yeah, I agree, because we've only... I mean, look, it does look like there is some other yellow cards. Ogle is yellow. And Crackle is yellow too. So it does look like... It's difficult. So far, I'd say it looks like Cyan is going to be the prominent color. Yeah, every card has Cyan so far. So I imagine Cyan is going to be like the common color in this set. But so far, it looks like, we're seeing yellow crop up quite a bit. We're seeing dark blue crop up quite a bit. Red quite a bit. I'm not seeing much magenta apart from Crackle so far. Maybe magenta's going to be quite slim still. Draco has like no yellow, so Alga's Hurrisk works. It works if you, I guess, build it with Draco Chapter 1. It looks like there might be quite a bit of yellow in Chapter 2, but obviously we haven't seen many of the cards yet. And if anything, Freeze makes Raiders stronger. You reckon so, Lewis? I mean, I guess that encourages people to trade rather than place cards down. I think obviously one half of traders is things like full palettes and Raiders and stuff like that. I mean, I guess Freeze wouldn't... No, Freeze does counter things like full palette, because then the opponent has to play another card and full palette that. If they don't have another card they can play, if they're relying on full paletting something on their canvas, then that's going to stop that. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, I will definitely say that I agree that I don't think Freeze stops Raiders, because obviously the thing that makes Raiders so good is trading, and Freeze doesn't stop that. So... I know that we had a discussion on stream the other week about how we could potentially stop Raiders, and the discussion was, we could potentially make new keywords. Clearly, these keywords aren't there to stop Raiders trading, but it definitely does counter Sparata quite well in terms of just stopping resolve. Yeah, Cyan Heavy makes sense, considering it is Arctic, isn't it? Yeah, incentivizes trading the whole time. Awesome. Hurrisk is also... Hurrisk is to Draco what Labcoat is for Sparata when versus Achroma is. Yeah, very true. Very true. But yeah, so very, very cool. Now, I don't want this conversation to end, so although I'm going to stop the Realm Table segment now, what I will be putting these previews into Discord following stream. So keep the chat going. Use the Canvas chat and the main chat, and I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about combos. I can definitely see Chroma Storehouse being a big one still, because a lot of Cyan. Massive Cyan build on Chroma Storehouse and Chroma Overflow is going to be massive. Cool. So with that is the end of the news, events, and previews, and that is also the end of the Realm Table as well, because that kind of was the Realm Table segment this month. This week was talking about those new cards, because I knew that was going to take time. If we did a separate Realm Table segment, we'd be going till like 9 PM. So to finish then, we're going to talk about the community showcase. So this is where we shine the light on you guys in the community. So to begin with, we like to talk about any new creator content. We have had a new article from Draco Temple that is linked down below. Draco Temple is a Achroma news article website, and the article that he detailed this week is reviewing all of the palettes that have been added for this week's challenge, which we're actually going to be showing on stream in a moment anyway, but definitely go have a read of that article because it has all of his own opinions on it. We've also had new content from Playing Achroma. So Playing Achroma is also a blog website and also a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel has done a new YouTube short about Vast Volataris and how powerful it is, so definitely go check out that. Please do support our Achroma content creators, as right now is, it's very, very tough for them because the Achroma community is still growing. So please go and support them by giving them likes and comments on their videos. Go check out, go check out their blogs and give them all the support that you can. Even in Acrom deck, looking at that legendary, yeah, very true. So in terms of fan-made content, there is actually nothing new to show this week, but that's because I know a lot of you are arted out from the art competition, and I know a lot of you have been getting your creativeness into the creative writing competition, which obviously we're not revealing this week. So what we're going to do then is we're going to talk about the last week's palette building challenge. So every week I'm going to be giving you guys a palette building challenge for a bit of fun. So we are going to give you a new challenge at the end of the stream, so stick around for a bit longer if you want to see this week's challenge. But firstly, what I want to do is talk about last week's challenge and show you the entries that we've had. So last week's challenge was a bit of a fun one. It was create the best legal palette where the total shard count must be equal to or lower than 80 shards. So this is something that you don't normally consider when creating palettes, but you actually have to count up how many individual shards you're building with, and I wanted to keep it 80 or lower. Now, in hindsight, I think I should have made the shard count lower, because most of you have been able to build some pretty good palettes by doing that, but I've got 6 palettes to show you. Let's have a little look at them. Obviously, as we're showing them, if you like the idea of any of these palettes, they are all in the Discord underneath the forum post, and please, in chat, let us know what you think of these palettes. So this first one is from Dickon. This is a Torstein palette. The grand total is 74 shards, so well done for keeping it under 80. So this is very much a creature palette. Now, from what I read, the whole point of this palette, what makes it good, is it's all around the Torstein and Club of Dagda combo. So if I just zoom in on those. So Torstein is a legendary, which if I bring him up on screen, Torstein. So Torstein is a legendary, which is... you resolve for each character location on your canvas, but critically, if you have 3 or more characters on your canvas, Torstein the Mighty can't be erased. So the idea here is you'd play Torstein and then see all of these cheap, there's loads of cheap creatures and characters in this palette. So you would play 2 or 3 of those characters to then initiate that can't be erased ability. Obviously, you've also got Jamship Orb in there to also double up on the can't be erased. Then what you do is you play Club of Dagda, which if I show you Club of Dagda, that is there. You then play Club of Dagda onto Torstein, which is the attached character has unlimited attacks during their turn, and each time the attached character attacks, you immediately +1. This object can only be erased if the character's erased. So essentially, put Club of Dagda with Torstein and Jamshid Orb, and now, suddenly, you have a character that has unlimited attacks and can't be erased by any means. It can be claimed, restrained, and bounced, so there is ways to counter, or frozen. Oh yeah, sorry, you can't have, yeah. So I think what the orb is, you're absolutely right. I think what the orb is the orb is to give to a character on your opponent's canvas so that you can attack them multiple times. But essentially, Torstein and Club of Dagda and a few other characters means that you can have unlimited attacks. You can basically board wipe your opponent's characters every turn and get some big resolve from it. So a very, very cool palette. You've obviously got Kunan in there to help you find Torstein, because the whole point of this palette is Torstein. So if you can't get him, the palette's going to fail. But yeah, very, very cool palette. Thank you very much, Dickon, for submitting this one. Orb is to keep a creature up. That makes sense. Yeah, you want to keep at least 1 or 2 creatures alive to obviously keep Torstein's ability up. That makes sense as well. So yeah, well done to Dickon for building this one. I like it. Obviously, there's also some good, cards in there. But we're not going to discuss every card because we've got 6 palettes to go through. But very, very well done. So the next one is from Playing Achroma. They created a Tenebrous palette from the Siege Draco Temple. This one comes to 76 shards. The main talking point is that what I like about it is it's a really good hybrid you know, we don't really see very many hybrid palettes, meaning that it's kind of Chroma and Achrom. You know, when you look at it, it's got a really nice amount of gain with Chroma Storehouse, Monastery Nest, Ruby Dracos, Strength in Numbers, but it's also got a decent amount of Drain and Steel as well. It's got loads of control. You've got Breath of Fires, you've got Chromatic Extinctions, you've got some really good, just, you know, things like Vast Voltaris. I'm not too sure what you'd use Serpent's Ring for, if I'm honest. I'm not too sure about that one, but it's just generally a really good mixture of Chroma and Achrom, and it does keep to the under 80 shard. So well done to playing a Chroma for this one. The next one was created by Echo. So Echo took the challenge of trying to create some form of Raiders palette with this. Now, I wouldn't exactly call this Raiders, because the whole point of Raiders is the fact that you can trade for high value. But when you look at it, there's not very many high value cards in this. This is pretty much just a good Ray palette. So you've still got Ray and Fire Tender with full palettes, but what he's mixed in is a lot of really good pixies. So it's a very good palette too. You can still gain to 30 quite quickly with Ray and full palettes and things like that. But you could also very easily win by Achrom here with things like Serrano, Carmelas, Haim Shard Caches, your Sintamani Stone and Pure. It's a very, very evil hybrid palette, in my opinion. This could go either way. But this has kept it to exactly 80 shards. So even a single shard more, and this wouldn't be allowed. So well done to Echo for being able to, you know, meets it, beats it, get straight to that 80 shards. So yeah, very good job to Echo. The next one is from Sharek. So Shar created this one also for the Draco Planum. This one is the lowest so far. This one is 69 shards. Nice. So well done, Shar, for managing to really go underneath the bar there of shard count. You can see that this one is your very kind of standard Dexter Materno palette. So the idea is to get Dexter and Materno out together to give each other protection. And obviously then all of your dragons would be protected, with your big burst being obviously Strength in Numbers, Chroma Storehouses. Vast Voltaris and Mirror Sanctum are great combos as well. Obviously, you're not going to be able to Mirror Sanctum the Vast Voltaris, but you know what I mean. Vast Voltaris is just a great card. Mirror Sanctum is great to be able to get some quick gain as well. Shard count. I'm hilarious. That is amazing. I like that, Taurus. But yeah, the only thing I'd say with this palette is it doesn't have very much control. It only has the one Breath of Fire. So I guess you know, if your opponent plays some really, really good cards or good, you know, if your opponent plays a 6-cost character, you really can't play any of your characters until you get Dexter and Materno out in one turn. So, you know, you could get quite tough there, but hey, I'm not here to judge too heavily here. Very, very good palette, and 69 shards keeps it underneath as well. Yeah, Taurus is hilarious. Taurus, you get the funniest person in stream pin. Congratulations. Welcome in, Very Bread. So next then is a palette from Antonomy, who also created a Ray palette, but not in Sparata. Ray created one called Ray's Occultists. So this one actually does take the trophy for the lowest shard count in this particular challenge. This is 61 shards in total, so nearly 60 shards. So this is all about Burst Achrom. So it's all around Arabella's Recipe, which Arabella's Recipe is you get to steal one for each card in your canvas with both Achrom and Chroma. And when you look, the maximum potential here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got a 9 steal potential. You've also got Achrom Blast, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13... a 14 drain potential, and I'm noticing this is a, you know, a nice cheap palette to play as well. Yes, that is another good point to bring up, is that to try and bring this palette down as cheap as possible, Anti only made this with one rare in mind to make it very, very cheap, which is interesting. Obviously there is still some cards in there. I think the main reason Ray is in there to get gain. So when you look at all of the cards, there's lots of Drain and Steel, but there's essentially next to no gain. So I imagine you would do Ray and Bothy to be able to kind of pay for the rest of your locations that are then going to Drain and Steel, with some nice control and card draw in there as well. I can see obviously he's put a lot of one shard cards in there to keep it cheap. So yeah, very well done to Antonomy for that one. And then the last one submitted right at the end was Lewis. So Lewis made this one. It is 79 shards, so it comes just under the 80 shards. And it is Occultists Doing Occultist Things palette. So it is very much an Occultist palette with, you know, your standard sort of Isadora, Preferius, Occultist Den, your Warlocks and Prism Sappers. But to be able to bring the cost down, I can see that he's gone for a few cheap cards like Runestones. Still managed to fit in 2 Haim Shard Caches, interestingly, which is obviously very strong. Obviously gone for some cheap locations for the steel, Conjuring a Curdle Cove. Very, very nice. Kind of like, it is kind of like this isn't a critique, more of just an observation. It is kind of like your standard occultist palette here, where, yeah, the whole point is get all your occultist out with Isadora and Preferius, and suddenly you're going to be hitting some big, big numbers of steel, especially when you throw in a Achroma Blast or Sorceress Preferius. We've been cooking this week. Yeah, Velchaser Cook. Yeah, very, very nice. So yeah, very well done to everybody that submitted. You know, I guess the points go to Antinomy for this amazingly cheap palette. In terms of which one do I think is strongest, I think the most creative idea, I really like Dickens. But I think the strongest probably has to go to Echo. I think this palette is incredibly strong. This could still go Chroma or Achroma. It just shows the power of Sparta right now. Very well done. Fairy, I look back to check out the sneak peeks, and those legendaries are amazing. They are, aren't they, Fairy? They're really cool. I'm going to be posting them in Discord in a moment, and we'll continue the conversation over there, but it's great. Hurrisk and Crackle in particular. I, for one, really want a Crackle plushie. I think that would be amazing. Brilliant. So would you guys like another palette building challenge? So, you know, for those that like the idea to, you know, something to think of throughout the week, I have got another challenge for you. So I will be posting this challenge in Discord as a forum post, and I recommend you use some of the community-made websites like Achroma Deck Builder and Achroma Tools to be able to make them, so that you're not having to mix up your cards. But the challenge I have for you this week is as follows. So I want you to create the strongest legal canvas palette. So again, it has to be legal, and it has to be a canvas palette, so not heroes, where every single card in it has to contain 2 different colors or Achroma on a color. So for example, looking at this exact palette that Lewis has got here, you know, Prism Sappers wouldn't be allowed, Achroma Blast wouldn't be allowed, Restocks wouldn't be allowed. Essentially, every, you know, Occultist Den wouldn't be allowed, Purth wouldn't be allowed, Preferius wouldn't be allowed. Every single card must contain 2 different colors. What this also means is that you won't be able to, yeah, no Copper Joss. It also means you won't be able to have any 1-shard cards. So the minimum will be 2 shards. That makes sense. So every single card has to be 2 shards or more, and has to be a mixture of colors or Achroma on a color. That makes sense? So get you thinking. Maybe some of you might already have palettes that are close to working. You might only have to swap out a couple of cards. If that's the case, so be it. But have a look. No Pixie palettes. It's almost certainly going to be. It's probably going to be more Chroma. Yeah, I imagine most of these palettes are probably going to be Chroma related. I mean, you can do Achroma palettes, but it's going to have to be Achroma palettes that have mixture, like for example, you know, Isadora, Rabid Dogs, things like that. But yeah, so have a little think. You've got a week to do it. Post any of your palette pictures in the forum post that I will submit after the stream, and I will review all of them on stream next week and decide some of my favorites. It is interesting. It is indeed. You got an idea? Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the interesting idea. But yeah, that's what you've got to do for the next week. I already have an idea for the week after as well, which is good. So with that, folks, that is the end of today's Achroma Weekly. To recap a little bit for you, for those that haven't been listening to start. So Playmats are out. You can pre-order yours down below. The Last Snow Dragons of Altari is still up for pre-order. We said in the main bit of news is that it's going to be delayed slightly for actual delivery to your door. And that's purely because we're waiting for the cards to be delivered to us, and we don't know exactly when that will be. But they are now sent off to the printer, so we're going to be rolling loads of previews at you over the next few weeks. Congratulations to those that did the Draco Summer tournaments. The art competition, winners will be soon. We have had some really good previews we've discussed, and yeah, we did the community segment there. So yeah, that's a kind of a bit of a summary. So thank you very much for joining me in stream, folks. I really appreciate it. I've been Charles Barton, otherwise known as Viridian in the Discord, the Achroma community coordinator. These weekly streams run every single week, so I will see you same time, 7 p.m, same place, the Achroma YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and like the stream if you haven't already. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say that. It really does help if you haven't subscribed to subscribe, and it really also helps the algorithm if you like this video. The more of you that like the streams, the more it recommends it to other people, so please do it. But yes, have a fantastic week, folks. Let's continue the chat in Discord about these cool previews, and I'll see you throughout the week for some games. Thank you very much, folks. I have been I've been brilliant. Where's my screen? I didn't have my screen prepared. There we go. Thank you very much, folks. I've been Charles Barton. Speak to you throughout the week. Bye-bye.